Welcome back to Podcast Recovery, everyone. We're your hosts, David O.
And Eric B.
And today we are doing more of our mini-sodes. It will be part 2 of our previous episode, which is the 32 Principles of Recovery. I'm holding the book up as if, our listeners can see that. But I am recording a video now because that's what we do now. We're going to cover this in 8 parts because 32 divided by 8 is 4. So in every episode, we will go through 4 principles and we will discuss them. And then at the end, we will give our own personal thumbs up or thumbs down to whether we think they're valuable to us. It's not a recommendation so far.
And part 1 was 3 out of 4.
Part 1 was 3 and 1. It was very solid. The only one we didn't particularly like was Principle 2, which said you can judge a man by the company he keeps.
Kind of rude.
A little bit rude.
Little rude.
Little judgy.
Little rude.
Little bit judgy. Little says judge. Says judge in the title.
Just
I don't like
a little bit judgy, aren't we?
Judgy. I don't like it.
Aren't we?
So now we are on Principle.
I just did a church lady.
Yeah, I think we both did.
Just a little bit judgy, aren't we? That's like, our references are really old right now. And the first one we did Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Now we're doing like early 90s.
Yeah, now
SNL.
we're doing Dana Carvey, Church Lady. Fantastic. All right, so Principle 5, which is French for 5. You're welcome. You get some knowledge today. If you wrap yourself in thorns, don't be surprised if no one wants to give you a hug. Interesting to think about. We'll read a little bit. We read a little bit. Yeah, let's get to this. This is done when you manipulate people in an attempt to make everyone feel sorry for you. Casting yourself as the quote-unquote victim, often complaining about how miserable your life is, but then rejecting any good advice on how to change it. Always begging to be loved, but rejecting any person that tries to get close to you. At times, even avoiding family members through isolation, as mentioned in Principle 4. Okay. So, let me read a little bit more. The mindset of the isolationist is to make themselves as unlovable as they can, then cry the quote-unquote the victim, saying that nobody loves them and using that as an excuse for their chemical dependence. Or, whatever. Or we'll just say behavior. For their behavior. And you will never find recovery if you are always looking for people to feel sorry for you. Self-pity is a dangerous poison that paralyzes you and keeps you from moving forward in your recovery. This is why accountability is so important. We'll just read the whole thing because it's only 1 page. Those whom you have made yourself accountable to will notice such behavior and help you to correct it. Okay, reading further into it, I feel a little bit better about it.
I don't like the title.
I don't like the title either. Yeah, it was a terrible, judging straight off the title. If you wrap yourself in thorns, don't be surprised if no one wants to hug you.
What if someone else wrapped me in thorns?
Not great. But also, I'm going to play the other side of the coin on that one as well, and say, we're supposed to love people where they're at. We're supposed to do our best at, once you're in recovery and have enough clean time, you have to understand people are coming in and they're broken. And we have to understand that. And yeah, there's a time when it is woe is me. And I think there's a line that's debatable for everybody. I think we've all done the sort of woe is me at one point.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And I just can't think you judge after a certain...
Sometimes woe is me is kind of a
cry for help.
It's but it's also warranted sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, and that's why I say there's a sliding scale.
Depression. And people not, I guess, if people are judging you because you're sad, fuck off.
Yes.
Fuck you.
Yeah. But also I understand what they're saying. If you are an Eeyore constantly,
hey, even Eeyore had friends, man.
That's very true.
There's a bunch of people in the 100-acre wood that were down with Eeyore.
And they always loved Eeyore. But you also have Eeyore couldn't be upset if every once in a while they see Eeyore coming through the woods and they're like, fuck, we gotta dude, we're having a good day. Eeyore's gonna bring us the fuck down. We can't deal with this right now. And they can't necessarily be upset about that. And so I get that aspect of it, but This one's an interesting one because I see it from both sides. If I cast myself in that light, I can't. It's very hard to be upset when people see me for that light.
Yeah.
You know, but again, the other side of it is we're supposed to love people where they're at, and if somebody's struggling and saying woe is me or my life is this difficult,
and that fucker has thorns on them. Stay away from that guy.
You're gonna get pricked, man. Yeah, man. You're gonna get pricked by that guy. Don't do that.
I think I'm gonna have to abstain from this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go full mid.
Yeah.
Mid. We're gonna go. We're gonna go. Yeah.
This is mid, as the kids say. Yeah. This is real mid.
Yeah. Well, how about you give a full thumbs down? I'll give it a thumbs up.
Thumbs down for me.
And so this one's gonna be a wash for us. It needs to be elaborated on.
Yeah, I get the concept. But
yes, it's a very thin workbook, people, and he didn't go very very deep in the depths of this. But I'd like to. I'm intrigued enough to hear more.
Yeah,
but it'll be a principle for some people, not for others. Anyway, moving on to principle 6. All right, and this one I haven't read, so I pre-read. I glanced at the first 5 and was like, oh, let me see it. And then I was like, let's be surprised. So we're venturing into the unknown of these principles. If you can't trust yourself, don't complain about others not trusting you. Forgiveness can be given instantly. However, trust must be earned over time.
Trust must be earned over time. I agree with that 100%.
Mm-hmm. I think this is a little bit of like a tie over from the other one.
I just don't like the way it's worded.
I like how the second part is worded.
Yeah.
I think
So what's the second part?
So the second part is forgiveness can be given instantly. However, trust must be earned over time.
And what's the first part?
If you can't trust yourself, don't complain about others not trusting you.
So I think we cut the first part and just focus on the second part.
Cut the first part. Yep. Yeah.
Because why are you worried about that?
Right? I think it's really too.
Is this a generational thing? You think I've noticed some of that stuff in here.
Yeah, possibly.
Where it's more of like, craft my law.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, and I think it's two not conflicting, but different sort of things.
They are.
I like that he just sort of butted up against.
The second bit's great, man.
The second bit is great, so we'll focus on that. Forgiveness can be given instantly, however, trust must be earned over time.
Fucking right.
when people are skeptical of your trustworthiness, you get angry with them for not trusting you, even though they may have known you for a long time. Perhaps that is the very issue. They really do know you, and therefore do not trust you. And we go through this in our steps 4 through 9.
Yeah.
4 through 9, really, like taking our own inventory and being accountable and honest about the wreckage of our past. And then, what was the root causes of those things? How do we make amends? And then actually making those amends. And again, you can be forgiven, but one of my biggest amends, like that, maybe she forgave me at some point, but the actual trust wasn't earned for years. Like, my sister didn't talk to me for my first 4 or 5 years of recovery. I now have 11. And I actually talked to her on the phone last night for over an hour. So, things are great. Things are amazing. Yeah. She called me just to see where I was at in my life.
I'm not a phone person, so that sounds like
I'm not either.
Time.
We haven't talked in 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
So it had been a while, and she had been dealing with stuff with her family. I'm dealing with stuff in my family. Mm-hmm. Life gets busy.
People get old.
But she cared enough that on a random Friday night, she was like, "Hey, I wonder what my little brother's doing. Let me call him and catch up." And Weird. So we did, and it's cool. But yeah, you can be forgiven in an instant. But yeah, and I think this is teaching us. What do you go? I'm mouthing off here.
No, I like it. I mean, you can get my forgiveness, but you're not getting my trust.
For a while.
Trust has to be earned.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, I say this to people, too, who break my trust. I'm just you're not getting it back just because, you got to earn it. And, you keep fucking up, so you haven't earned it.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep. Absolutely.
It goes back to kind of, being honest.
Yeah.
I'm if you're not honest, I'm not going to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. And accountability.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think between the lines, it's also,
which is
not giving the reader to basically temper their expectations.
Well, I think that's one of the most important principles, honestly, is honesty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like without
I think it is paramount. It is paramount.
It's fucked.
It is
all
yep.
fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think between the lines, it's saying also temper your expectations. You can't get clean in the first week. Be like, I expect my sister, who I fucked over for years, to forgive me and trust me and give me a key to her house and let me around my nieces or nephews. Like, that's unrealistic. Yes. So what they're saying here is like, hey, you know, you have to earn it. Like you have to do your diligence for a long time in order to get back what you destroyed. Mm-hmm. And that's recovery.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, except for the first part. But yeah.
Except for the first part.
We'll cut that out.
We're gonna cut that out. Fuck that. Forgiveness can be given instantly. However, trust must be earned over time. And boop, 1 thumbs up. We have two thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. That's a good principle. Good principle. Ooh, this is a long principle.
I don't like that.
Principle 7 is long. Ooh, well, I'll read the last sentence of Principle 6. So your integrity is an important aspect of your recovery, and you should always strive to maintain it. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, Principle 7. This is a long one. It's wordy. It's a whole page of bold print. So growth comes from learning new things. Semicolon. Maturity comes from putting what you have learned into practice. Period. Okay? Therefore, some people... It should have just stopped there. That should have been the principle. Boom. Growth comes from learning new things. Maturity comes from putting what that stuff is into practice.
Yeah.
Love that.
I love that.
But here's the second part. Therefore, some people only gain growth because their knowledge has increased, yet never mature emotionally because they neglect to put what they have learned into practice. Okay. So it's just further explanation of it.
I don't like that.
It didn't need it, but I get it. Thumbs down on the title. Okay, we got a thumbs down on the title, but we'll go again. We'll edit.
Not a writer. I can tell.
Yes, you're a little bit wordy. So growth comes from learning new things. Maturity comes from putting what you have learned into practice.
Wait, what's Orthodox Easter?
What?
There's a different Easter for Orthodox people?
Yeah. Why? Where did that come from?
It's on my just popped up here on like my calendar. It was like Orthodox Easter's tomorrow. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Didn't we already have Easter?
Yeah, we did.
But the Orthodox people need to have a separate day?
Yeah.
Did Jesus come back twice?
Maybe. I don't know.
The fuck?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
Who makes these rules?
I'm not a Jesusologist.
This is weird.
I don't know. Ask the Council of Nicaea fucking 1,000 years ago.
I'd love to be
I would love to be a fly on the wall. Oh yeah, my God, the Council of Nicaea.
That'd be so fascinating. All right, we're gonna... Women, how do we feel?
How do we feel about women? Good or bad? Yay or nay? Thumbs up? Nope.
Let's represent them as prostitutes.
But they're still going by like Roman rules, so everybody gives a thumbs up, and then they kill the woman. They're like, wait, no, we did that wrong. That was backwards. And you're like, well, we stoned her to death. Oh. Anyway, sorry. back to our principle.
People are like, what are you talking
Principle
about?
7, growth comes from learning new things. Maturity comes from putting those things into practice. Absolutely.
How do we feel about women?
How do we feel about women? Love them. They're fantastic, but they're also terrible. But so are men.
I actually listened to a song the other day called it was something, but it was like a woman's first sin, and it's like because she ate. And I was like, yeah, she did eat. That's her first sin. Yeah. Kind of weird.
Nope, I'm not going to say what was in my brain. We're going to move on. So I like this. Growth comes from learning new things.
Can you just please show me how long that fucking thing is? It looks... That's
stupid. It is stupidly long. Stupidly long.
Just being a copywriter.
Be succinct. If you're going to write... Bam.
Being a copywriter and a designer, that makes me very sad.
Yeah.
It makes me very sad.
Very sad. The font is nice. It's a nice font. It's a good font. Okay, so first part. Growth comes from learning new things. Absolutely. And furthermore, growth comes from getting outside your comfort zone. Because one of my favorite quotes, which if you're not a Kung Fu Panda fan, watch Kung Fu Panda because the quotes in there by Oogway. No, the turtle. Wise old turtle are fantastic. Such amazing nuggets of wisdom. And in the third one, he says, if you only do what you can, you'll never be more than what you are. And it was
Are you talking about the third Kung Fu Panda?
Yeah.
I love that you were like, and in the third Kung Fu
I love Kung Fu Panda. Also, Magnus loves Kung Fu Panda.
We have toddlers, guys. So
Magnus loves Kung Fu Panda. Love Kung Fu Panda. I watched the first Kung Fu Panda on shrooms.
That's fun.
Which was fantastic.
I watched a lot of, like, I remember going to see Frozen in the theaters. I didn't have a kid.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. That's fair.
Or Wreck-It Ralph as well. That was a cool
yeah, Wreck-It Ralph, totally. Anyway, and I lied. That was not Uguay who said that. That was Shifu who said that. If you only do what you can, you'll never be more than what you are. And that's growth. So that's getting outside of your comfort zone, because I totally believe that. And like, we'll go to nature with that. It, like, unless it spreads its roots farther into, the soil or the bedrock or whatever, unless it spreads those roots and breaks new ground from where it was, it can't possibly be sturdy enough to grow taller. Mm-hmm. So, that's a very practical application of growth, and that's learning new things. So that's the first part of it. And what this is really saying is, when it comes to with the fellowship, because this is obviously non-fellowship based, but understanding and application of the steps. Well, you can understand the steps all you want, but
you have to live them.
But exactly,
that's what we've always said.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's funny watching people who don't do the come to the program and don't work the program, because it's like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah. Like you can come into a meeting and talk about honesty all you fucking want, but if you're going around fucking around on your wife behind her back, you are not living the principles.
It's just God's will, man.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about that's God's will.
Yep.
He wanted me to cheat on my wife, and he wanted me to touch that woman.
Yep. And you can talk about the circle being a symbol for unconditional love, and it's all encompassing and all of that. But then you're racist, you're misogynist, you're this, you're that. You're like, you're not living the principles that you're not walking the walk.
I just sell drugs. I don't take drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. This is talking the talk and walking the walk. That's exactly what it is.
I'm just thinking of one person right now.
I know who we're thinking about.
Yeah, you could tell when I sat like almost completely off my chair.
I used to do
kind of gave away.
So back when we were shitbags, that was back in the days when I was just doing scathing impressions of people. They were very good. They were very good. Also, if anybody in Hollywood sees this, I'm a fantastic. I'm a fantastic actor. Please cast me.
My favorite quote, I think, from him is like, I'm trying to think, like, it was probably one of the ones around, like, he sucked my dick, but that don't mean I'm gay. Like, it's like, wait, what? What did you say?
Yeah, he was an interesting character, but this is understanding and application. Yeah, which. Honestly, if this guy was more succinct, he could have boiled it down to that. He could have just said understanding and application.
Yeah.
Get it. Yep.
It's hard. You need a copy editor.
Yep. Yeah. Was there an editor?
There was no
this?
editor.
I don't know. Probably
no
not.
Way.
There's no way. And I don't know.
No way. Not with that length on that title.
Oh, so there was an editor.
They did not have much say, or they weren't.
Oh, also, I'm going to read this. Disclaimer, this book is in no way serves as a replacement for professional medical advice.
Good. Perfect.
Yep. Absolutely. So Principle 7. I think we've said everything we need to say about Principle 7, really.
Agree.
We're cutting half the page out and just going with that.
We're good.
I'm going to go thumbs up. Thumbs up. We got 2 thumbs up. So far, we have 5 thumbs up.
1 thumbs down.
1 wash and 1 thumbs down.
Yeah.
1 thumbs down. Principle 8, which will be the last of this episode. All right. If you put your wants before your needs, you will always be wanting, always in need, and never satisfied. Good.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Good title. Good title. All right, let me read a little bit of this. The mindset of the chemically dependent is one of self-will and dissolution. In other words, putting your wants first and neglecting responsibilities for the sake of self-gratification. In the end, the craving is never truly satisfied, and neglected responsibilities become an even greater burden because they begin to pile up, creating anxiety, which will lead to desire to escape. the ever-pressing reality of the consequences of your behavior. Most often, it starts with smaller decisions that go unnoticed and eventually work its way up to other decisions that end up making a greater impact in your life. Very true. Yeah. If you put your wants before your needs, you will always be wanting. Boom. And we'll stick with our big four: sex, gambling, food, and substances.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Baby.
Sex and drugs and rock and roll. I want this candy. I want this chocolate cake. I want to have sex with that attractive woman. I want the chance to win $3,000. Mm-hmm. I don't want to feel, I want to feel happy instead of sad right now. So I'm going to do this substance. Yeah. And that comes down to like integrity and accountability are at the root of a lot of these. And I think it's at the root of recovery in general, because if you're not holding that line when people aren't looking, then you're bound to falter and ultimately probably fail. Oh, sorry. I burped.
It's all right.
Yeah. If you put your wants before your needs. Yeah. Wants before needs is tough because I think
credit cards make that really tough.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think there is a healthy level of it.
Yeah.
Like if your needs are already met, like your bills are already paid, you have money in your bank account and you're like, I have X amount of money to go spend on a pair of shoes or a tattoo or a video game. I think that's okay.
Well, it is okay. The problem is doing what I do now, where I'm like, well, I'll just go into debt and buy it.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Yeah. And then there goes to another anonymous, Debtors Anonymous, where they would be like, oh, that's a big no-no.
Which Debtors Anonymous isn't a possible thing, I feel like, in today's world.
It's a great idea.
Great idea.
It is a great idea. It is very difficult.
It doesn't work.
Very difficult.
Because it's like...
It can. I think it can.
It can't work in today's economy. Like,
well,
you'd have to be...
What does work in today's economy?
With credit.
Yeah.
If you don't have credit, you're fucked.
You sure about that?
You want to buy a house? You want to buy a car?
No.
Yes. You got to have credit. So that's the issue with credit, like the Debtors Anonymous.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no unsecured debt.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I get it. Like, but I'll never buy a house. I'll never
Yeah, I get it. It's absolutely tough. But ultimately it's saying putting wants before your needs.
Yeah.
So what we said was different. Like if you didn't put your wants before your needs. If you get your wants after your needs are taken care of, that's totally fine. But it can also it is something that needs to be managed. You do need to watch it.
Yeah.
Cuz also that's like moral desert. It can turn into that. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I've done X, Y, and Z, therefore I earned this.
Yeah.
I deserve and which can be dangerous, and which it said like the smaller decisions leading to bigger ones. So because you have to check your motives. Because if you're going through, okay, I just did my 40-hour work week, those are your needs. And then you want the moral dessert after that. Like, well, I've earned a night off. I've earned the ability to go drink. Yeah. Or I worked out all this week. I've earned a cheat day.
Yeah. I don't love cheat days. I don't really believe in this. But yeah.
No, but you understand how it can easily be a slippery slope. Mm-hmm. Easily be a slippery slope. And then what's the second part? Before your needs, you will always be wanting. And yeah, that's true. Like, and it said that putting your wants and neglecting your responsibility for the sake of self-gratification, in the end, the craving is never truly satisfied.
Yeah.
One is 1,000, or one is never enough. 1,000.
One is
too many. 1,000 never enough.
Yeah.
And neglected responsibilities become even greater burdens. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Like this is about accountability to yourself on so many levels, and I think this is another win. I think this is another good principle to live by for your recovery. And, a quarter of the way in now, I think we have some solid principles to at least, serve as guidelines to where you are. That's the thing. Like, none of these are set in stone principles. I think I think it would be a better title, 32 Guidelines for Recovery, than necessarily Principles.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Like, so far as this is going out, I think these are guidelines and not necessarily principles.
Okay.
I think there's principles at the core of these guidelines, but right? Like accountability, integrity, honesty. So far has been the main ones. I'm eager to see what else we have as it goes on, and
that'll be next time.
That'll be next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. So everybody, that is our episode for today, which were principles 4 through 8 of the 32 Principles of Recovery by Rick McNeil. And so far, I'm very satisfied with this, and this is, another good tool in your toolbox for recovery. It has some wisdom in there, and, frankly, good stuff. So everybody, thanks for joining us once again. Go to all our social media outlets, like, share, subscribe, join our Patreon, help us keep the mics on. We are self-supporting. Go to our merch store, buy
shit,
everything, buy shit. Your needs are fine. You know what you want? I know what you want. You want some podcast recovery merch.
Swag, yeah.
You want some swag. That's what you want. And we have all sorts of shit. Cool shit. Help rep us. But most importantly, everybody out there,
stay safe and stay clean.